Hi guys, back again on the Spoiler TV channel. This time I will summarize the storyline of the film Aquaman, which was released in 2018, starring Jason Momoa as Aquaman, Amber Heard as MERA. This is the third live-action Tater film, featuring the character Aquaman following Batman vs Superman, Dawn of Justice League in 2016 and Justice League in 2017. Okay, let's start the story. In 1985 in Maine, a lighthouse keeper named Thomas Carey saved Atlanta, queen of the underwater nation of Atlantis. Atlanta is a descendant of the king of Atlantis. She fled from the kingdom because she was forced to marry the king of Orvax. Tom nursed Atlanta until she recovered. Eventually they fell in love and had a son named Arthur, born with the power to communicate with sea creatures. When Arthur was about 4 years old, Atlanta was hunted by the Atlantean warriors to return to the kingdom and marry the king of Orvax.
Queen Atlanta, authority of King Orvax to return to Atlantis.
Atlanta managed to defeat the warriors of Atlantis, but Atlanta knew that soldiers of Orvax would keep coming to arrest her. Therefore, Atlanta decided to return to Atlantis and married the king of Orvax in order to save Arthur and Tom. Atlanta also left her trident for Arthur. When Arthur was still in elementary school, he went on an aquarium tour with his teacher and school friends. Here Arthur began to appear his superpowers, where when Arthur was bullied by his friends, the sharks and other fish got angry and was about to shatter the glass of the aquarium, but Arthur calmed him down, and the fish lined up behind Arthur, making the crowd stare at Arthur. This is where Arthur was nicknamed Aquaman. At that time Atlanta sent VULKO, Atlanta's advisor, on a mission to train Arthur. Under VULKO's guidance Arthur became a skilled warrior. But Arthur rejected Atlantis, after learning that his mother was executed by the king of Orvax, for having children half male, that is Arthur. About 10 years later, or in the present day, there was a robbery on a submarine belonging to the Russian Navy. The robbers are led by Cain, who has a son named David, who joins the robbery with his father. At that time Cain gave David a dagger left by his father, nicknamed the Manta, because later David would replace Cain as the leader of the robbers. Suddenly the submarine they were in experienced a shock like it hit something. David thought it was a submarine, however it turned out to be a human, and of course it was Aquaman, who will save the crew of the ship and finish off the robbers. Arthur managed to enter and finish off the robbers. David and Cain left. David tried to fight Arthur, but because Arthur is superhuman, Arthur easily beats David. Then Cain comes and shoots Arthur with explosive bullets, but it doesn't kill Arthur. Arthur got back up and stabbed Cain with an iron pipe. Here Arthur knows that they are father and son. Cain, who is injured, shoots Arthur back, but misses. The submarine has a leak. David asks Arthur for help to lift the rocket that hit Cain's leg. Arthur does not want to help him, because their actions have killed many people. Cain told David to go and leave himself to die. Cain asked David to take revenge on Aquaman. Now David is really angry and will take revenge on Aquaman. And Arthur brought the crew who's safe on land. Somewhere in the Atlantic Ocean, where at the time of the first Atlantis held a meeting in this place, with the kings of the 7 oceans. Now the king of the Orm, descendant of the king of Atlantis, invited King Nerus to hold a meeting. The king of this Orm is the son of Atlanta, and the king of Orvax, so he is the younger brother from Arthur. The purpose of the king of Orm inviting King Nerus to wage war on the surface nation, because the surface or land nation has behaved badly. They throw garbage into the sea, hunting whales, which essentially pollutes the sea. However, Nerus was still thinking, because he didn't mind the mainland people. So far Nerus was fine. Then suddenly a submarine came to attack them, injuring Nerus and his soldiers, but the king of Orm managed to destroy the submarine. Now Nerus was really angry, and was about to follow the Orm king's invitation to attack the mainland. VULKO, who saw the incident, as if not expecting it, because believing that the surface people were kind and friendly, David, who was sad because of his father's death, was visited by a submarine belonging to the kingdom of Atlantis. Then the king of Orm appears and forms a holographic. It turns out that the king of Orm and David have known for a long time. They conspired, and the submarine that attacked during the meeting was David's doing, and without a crew. So this is all the king of Orm's plan. Arthur and Tom, who just came out of the bar, leading his father to the car because drunk too much to drink, and came MERA, the daughter of King Nerus, fiancé of the king of Orm. This MERA was ordered by VULKO to meet Arthur, and told that the king of Orm will be at war with the surface country, which will cause billions of people to die. They ask Arthur to get rid of the king of Orm because the real king of Atlantis is Arthur, the first child of Atlanta. However, Arthur must take the trident of Atlanta, which is long lost. The trident can control the contents of the ocean, so that later Arthur can be trusted by the underwater nation. But Arthur refused, and left them. When Arthur brought him home, Arthur was surprised by the arrival of a mega tsunami, which Orm sent and grabbed Arthur's car, and made his father, who was drunk, separated from Arthur. Then MERA came, saves Thomas, and let out water on Tom's body. Arthur thanks MERA, and now Arthur will overthrow his brother, for peace at sea and on land. MERA will bring Arthur to meet VULKO in Atlantis, because VULKO knows about the trident of Atlan. They board the ship and head to VULKO's hideout. Arriving at VULKO's hideout, they meet. VULKO informs that the surface nation attacked the king of Orm, and attacked Dad MERA. But Arthur did not believe it, because in the surface nation of Atlantis it was considered a fairy tale. The king of Orm and the Zebul kingdom, led by King Nerus, will invite 2 more kingdoms across the ocean to attack the surface. VULKO ordered Arthur to withstand this war by first taking the trident of Atlan, which was forged by the best weapons experts in history, and made of Poseidon iron, then given to the first king of Atlantis. Here VULKO tells the origin of Atlantis. At that time Atlantis was very advanced. They found unlimited energy. However, the king of Atlantis was too ambitious for power. He came out, his power made the city of Atlantis sink. But the power paved the way for the future, and gave the ability to breathe underwater. They evolved, others regressed and became savage. Then the king lived the rest of his life in exile. He and the trident were never seen again. However, the Atlantis archaeologist team found ancient records a few months ago, in the first dynasty of the Deserter Kingdom. VULKO believed that the object indicated the location of the Atlan trident. Suddenly the Orm king's soldiers came and attacked Arthur. Because Arthur was detected from the surface nation, VULKO and MERA hide unbeknownst to the soldiers. Arthur was defeated, and brought before the king of Orm, Arthur's own brother. Arthur arrogantly challenged Orm to fight. Who wins will become king. King of Orm gladly accepts. They will fight in the ring of fire, a kind of bloodshed tradition. Whoever wins, he will get it. Arthur is given a suit by VULKO, and will use his mother's trident to fight Orm. Before the fight starts, Orm gives a bracelet to MERA, which is said to belong to Atlanta. Arthur finds out that MERA is Orm's fiancé. Then Arthur and Orm talk. Orm turns Arthur on. Because of him his mother was executed. Orm welcomes his people in the ring of fire first, followed by Arthur, where when Arthur appears the people boo him. And they immediately fight. Here Arthur almost makes Orm killed, splashed into the lava. Then Orm is angry, and attacks Arthur back. Finally, Arthur lost. Orm destroyed Arthur's trident and was about to kill him. Suddenly someone attacked Orm, and the attack was familiar. Surely his actions were MERA. MERA save Arthur and take him away from Atlantis. Then Orm and his soldiers chased after them. In here Orm shoots the ship so it falls down. Arthur and MERA got out of the ship, and approached the whale that happened to be passing by, arranged to communicate with the whale, to ask for protection. Then they went into the whale's mouth, to hide. Orm thought that MERA was dead, because he saw the ship sinking into the lava lake. Now Arthur and MERA will head to the Sahara Desert to find a place for the Deserter Kingdom, where they will later get a clue, to take the trident of Atlan. They board a plane to go to that location. Meanwhile, Orm knows that MERA is not dead because Orm has previously attached a bracelet to MERA, which turns out to be a GPS detector. Orm is going to kill MERA because MERA has betrayed, but King Nerus asks not to hurt his daughter, better capture it. Then Orm goes to David to ask for help killing MERA and Arthur or Aquaman. David is given a protective suit and plasma weapon whose only fuel is using water. David, who also has a grudge against Aquaman, very happy and also angry. David modified the weapon and dyed it black. Now David is nicknamed Black Manta. We go back to Arthur and MERA, where this sensing device shows the location of the deserter kingdom from below, and they jump right out of the plane, without a parachute.
Have a parachute!
Redheads!
Then they went down the desert and managed to find the deserter kingdom. It was under the Sahara Desert. When he entered the kingdom, Arthur now believed that the trident Atlan was true, because there were traces of the trident being made in that place. They found archaeologists like the Round Table, then they put ancient records on the table, but nothing happened. MERA tried to use Arthur's sweat to put it on top of the ancient record, and it worked. The first king of Atlantis appears, in the form of a hologram. He gives riddles and clues Ada on the bottle, just below Arthur and MERA. They took the bottle, and found a map. The map took them to Sicilia, Italy. Well, here they start to like each other. Arthur and MERA try to think to solve the riddle. Then Arthur remembers his father's story, that the real king of Italy it was King Romulus. Arthur immediately put the bottle on the statue of King Romulus, and found where the trident was, and the object was in the middle of the sea. When MERA and Arthur were about to kiss, suddenly they were attacked by Black Manta and the soldiers King Orm. MERA and Arthur separate. Arthur fights Black Manta. Meanwhile MERA fights Orm's troops. MERA tries to escape but that doesn't stop her. MERA finally fights, and manages to defeat him. Meanwhile Arthur manages to beat Black Manta, but Arthur is injured by being hit by a plasma weapon. Arthur knows Orm is tracking them. It turns out that it was caused by the bracelet that the King of Orm gave. Then MERA destroys the bracelet. MERA stole the ship and headed for the location of the Atlan trident, and brought Arthur, who had just aware. When they arrived at the location, a storm hit him. Suddenly a trench came. A creature that chose to retreat, and was savage to Atlantis. MERA and Arthur were attacked by a large number of trenches. Then Arthur took a hand flare. Arthur and MERA decided to jump. Headed down to the sea. It turned out that below was the Trench Kingdom, where the Queen of Atlan was executed here. They continued to swim towards the Rift of Light. The trench stopped chasing here. Then Arthur and MERA entered into the light, making them bounce and separate. MERA managed to get into another world but he fainted. Suddenly a mosasaur came and was going to eat him. But MERA was saved by someone, and brought him to land. Arthur came to the surface. Apparently, they were in a hidden sea, under the Earth's core. Wow. The person who helped MERA is Queen Atlana. It turns out she is still alive. Arthur finally met the mother.
Arthur.
Atlana asks Arthur about Tom's condition. Arthur tells that Tom always goes to the pier. Every time the sun appears in the morning, waiting for Atlana's arrival, makes Atlana sad and she misses Tom. Then Atlana shows the trident, which is behind the waterfall. Only the trident can get them out of here. But the trident is guarded by Carathan, a real legendary creature. And Arthur enters the waterfall to retrieve the trident. Sure enough, Arthur found the trident. Just as he was about to take it, Carathan came and attacked Arthur. This creature was very strong and almost killed Arthur. But Arthur reflexively released his power, which could communicate with sea creatures. Carathan was surprised because no one could communicate with him, in addition to the first king of Atlantis. Finally, Carathan allows Arthur to take the trident of Atlan. Arthur takes MERA and her mother out of this place. While the King of Orm has succeeded in persuading 3 kingdoms in the ocean to help him, now King Orm wants to add one more kingdom, namely the Brine Kingdom. This kingdom is the same as the Trench Kingdom, which does not want to submit to Atlantis. Orm will kill its leader, so that the brine troops submit and participate in the war against the surface nations. When Orm will kill his leader, he was thrown because of something that appeared under him. It turned out to be Karadan, who would help the Brine Kingdom, along with Arthur, who was above it, making kingdoms other than Atlantis surprised, because Arthur had the trident of Atlan. With Arthur's trident Atlan, Arthur could control all sea creatures to attack Atlantis. Arthur also controlled Trench.
He commands the Trench!
Impossible!
Then MERA came to see his father, Nerus, not to interfere and to surrender, because Arthur already had the trident. Nerus obeyed. Arthur lures Orm to the surface, because Arthur previously lost in the water. While watching the kings and their people on their ships fighting, at first Arthur was overwhelmed by Orm. But Arthur remembers the trident move that VULKO taught him as a teenager. Arthur masters it and defeats Orm. But Arthur is reluctant to kill Orm, because he is his own sister. Here Atlana comes, which makes Orm surprised and touched. It turns out that his brother saved his mother. Now Orm regrets his actions and he is arrested.
Like him.
Now Arthur is the king. He managed to prevent this war. Accompanied by MERA, who will be her partner later, and Atlana returns to the lighthouse to meet Tom. The film closes with Black Manta bobbing in the sea, and is helped by Dr. Shin, a scientist.
This is Atlantean technology.
Okay guys, I hope you are entertained with the storyline of the film that I brought. And always, thanks for watching.